Hello everyone, it's DeathClock1637 here again, and in this video we're going to be talking about things you'll encounter in the endgame after the campaign. So, in my last few videos, I was basically taking a marauder at the beginning of the game on the beach and just sort of introducing some concepts slowly and just going into stuff that would sort of build one stage after the other and just getting some information introduced again without going into everything because with this game you don't need to know everything all at once. You can definitely take it piece by piece, and that helps a lot when you're getting into things for sure. um, Now I'm not going to be spending a whole lot of time in game, but when you do get to maps, I did want to show you a couple of useful recipes that can certainly get you by if you run into a bit of a crunch. So, first of all, I'm going to open my inventory, and we're on standard, by the way. So, ignore all this. Standard isn't real. Nothing matters. Uh, but let's take a look at some vendor recipes that might help. So, if you're doing maps and you come across a lot of of the same tier, and you don't seem to be getting +1 drops, which should actually happen in the game. You can watch other videos that would explain the map drops a little better. But say you have too many, or say you ran out of a tier, you can go to the vendor and basically sell them 3 maps, and they'll give you 1 for 1 tier higher. So we're going to accept that trade because good. And then, supposing you're in a bit of a bind, what you can do is go to Kirak and buy maps from him. Now, these should reset every time you do one of his missions, is if my information is correct. So this can definitely be a semi-reliable source of getting those like +1 tier maps, and it will tell you how much it costs. A lot of these ones, when they start costing Chaos Orbs, I don't think it's really worth it. You'll probably start finding red maps in more abundance anyway, so that's just something to note. With your gems, what you can do at the vendor with support gems, you used to be able to do this on skills, but they took that away. What you can do here is, for one, I have two level 20 gems here, and let's say I wanted to make this 20 quality as well to unlock that extra benefit. What I can do is either spend 20 gem cutters prisms on this to make that 20 quality at level 20, or what I can do is sell it to the vendor, and what they will do is give me an automatic 20 quality gem back, but at level 1. um that's certainly something that can be extremely useful if you don't have many gem cutters prisms, because at this stage of the game your gem levels will come up pretty quickly. Something else you can do, let's say if you're running into a stat problem, and we're going to use Culling Strike as an example. Let's say you run into a bit of a stat problem. You're up against a wall because a gem is too high level when you replace something. Not a huge issue. If you have a Scouring Orb, you can sell your gem to the vendor and get it 1 level lower. Alternatively, let's say you're switching characters and all you have is a level 20 gem. Well, you can reset this gem by selling the gem plus a Regret Orb and just getting a raw level 1 back. So that's just a couple things to help you out in terms of starting the end game. And another thing that is certainly useful to know, and I'm going to ignore these remove only. This is standard league. These show up when your characters get transitioned into standard, and these remove onlys are basically just a way of giving additional storage to things that would need to be taken out of these tabs only, so they don't count. In general, I would say if you're going to really get into the game, a couple of good map tabs to have are currency and map for sure. These two will definitely help you organize your stuff a lot better and just give you a way to store things quickly. And further to that point, each of these tabs has an affinity. for the specialty ones, and also for the just premium tabs as well. You can also set that affinity on these, except with every option, and not just one. So going back into the currency tab, if you set that affinity, what happens is I'm going to control click this set of exalt shards out. But if I go to my stash with those exalt shards and I want to put them away, I just shift click and boom, they end up in the right tab. Same thing goes for maps. Let's say I've just got like a bunch of loot from the current area that I just did. I don't really care about identifying it. I just wanted it in a stash. Boom, same move, control click. There you go. So like I said, these two are amazing to have. And like I said, you can set that affinity here. I've done that for maps. If you happen to want some extra storage, you can certainly look in the shop and see all of the other types of tabs. But basically, like I said, it's just more convenience and organization. If you're just trying the game, you don't need any of that stuff. So that's certainly worth calling out. So the next thing I wanted to move to is basically some extended tools that you will generally bump into, again, if you happen to get into the game. And this is not necessarily for your 10 or 20 hour player. This is for your like 1,000+ hour player, I would say. Just someone who is definitely committed to getting to maps and progressing pretty far. So what I'm going to do is get my browser open, and I'll leave all these links in the description as well. But I think what we'll start with is actually item filters. So I'm going to switch things up here and bring up my full monitor. So here we see filterblade.xyz. This is maintained by a content creator called NeverSync. He actually has a group of people that maintain the site, but he's the main developer. He develops filters for both PoE 1 and PoE 2. So you can choose either one. I'm going to go into PathOfExile 1. You don't have to be signed in. However, signing in does help in terms of storing any preferences that you would have set. So certainly you can do that. And if you happen to want to switch out of PoE 1 to PoE 2, there's a control to do that here. But basically what this will help you do is clean up the view of items in your game that, you know, you may not feel are necessary, and it will help you kind of sort through everything a little better, so that you don't have to go picking up all those rare items and looking at them yourself. So a good place to start for any filter is the preset here, semi-strict. This is amazing for anyone just casually playing the game. Now, all of these other strictnesses, what they will start to do is cut out certain types of items and certain tiers of items. But that would be something, you know, for the more advanced player that really wants to customize what they see. And let's say, you know, they have too many Orbs of Alchemy, they might want to go and take that out of their filter. Same thing with Portal and Wisdom Scrolls. They might say, okay, well, I have too many, I'll go remove them, whatever the case may be. But definitely picking whatever color you like and starting at semi-strict if you're a new player is the best way to go. Here are the customizations. There's a search bar for anything that you may want to look at. So divination cards, all the styles come up. Once you have something, you can simulate the loot. As you can see, there's grayed out items that would be hidden. So let's say if we wanted to generate loot, we could see what our filter is showing us in highlighting. The style, whatever you want to pick. And then in the advanced options, I generally don't touch this, and I don't think there's necessarily a use case for most players to be doing that, but whatever you want. And then from here, you can continue without saving and just download a copy of the filter file. And what it will do is basically tell you where to save it. So it has downloaded this filter file. I don't need that, but it will tell you where to go and save that particular file once you copy it out of that folder. So again, this is an extremely useful tool. It will really help declutter your screen and help you definitely get through a lot of the game a little easier without having to necessarily sort through everything. Next thing I'm going to go through is a little bit more advanced, but PoEDB. This website is insanely valuable just because it has all of the data related to modifiers on basically anything. And it has info on quests and all the other stuff you might need. So if you wanted to look up skill gems, you could do that for Path of Exile 1. They're all listed here. Search to your heart's content. This also exists for Path of Exile 2, PoEDB 2. Again, same information, patch notes, all that fun stuff. Moving on, we have the Path of Exile trade sites. You have to be logged in to view these. This is PoE 2. This is PoE 1. I'm not going to go through all of these options because this can be a whole separate video in itself. However, I will say that if you want to search something, you can always try to scroll through it and see if you find something that matches. Or a lot of times, if you wanted to search for an item, let's say this amulet, you could search and then filter item by stats, and it will basically give you that unique item's statistics or whatever item that you chose to copy. It will just populate it for you, and you can search for the best one. If you don't happen to know what you're looking for, you can always search by category, claws, daggers, whatever, and whatever rarity. And then if you don't know if something exists or you feel like you're going to spell it wrong, there's a little tilde you can add. And then you can say attack speed. Start typing that out, and you'll get a whole bunch of filtered options for attack speed. And that option is also available on the PoE2 trade website, although, again, not as many options as PoE1. Next thing I'll go to is CraftOfExile. This is super fun for messing with items. There's a PoE1 and a PoE2 variant. You can see where my cursor is up here. If I click PoE2, same thing exists. I'm not going to go through the site in a whole lot of detail. There are videos that will tell you a little more about how to use it, but consider this basically a little playground for items that you might want to create, consider buying, whatever the case may be. This is an amazing resource, especially if you're new to crafting. You can actually test things out with stuff like the emulator, which helps a ton. Moving on to more tools, we have Path of Building. I mentioned this in a previous video. I'll link this in the description, but I'll open up the PoE1 version of the tool here. And basically, you can just do what you need to do in terms of planning your build. This will tell you all you need to know. So let's say we're starting a Marauder like I did in my first video, and we want to go Berserker. We had chosen Aspect of Carnage for our first slot. You can search for skills. So we were doing Sunder. And then I added Volatility. I had it as an option. Ruthless Support. This is defaulting it to level 20. So what I'm going to do is go take that down. And it will tell me some generic stats about my damage. I'm going to choose the first wave area just to make it easy. But like I said, you can simulate a lot of things. Start getting into where you're spending your points. Oh no, that's not where I went. I went here. That's what it was. So I went here. I went over this wheel. And then, like I said, you can certainly find out whatever you want. There's a lot of other uh, features to this, and PoEB could be its own video as well. But I can save that depending on what people want out of this series as well. So I'm not going to go into a whole lot of detail, but like I said, I would say everyone in maps or deep into the game will use this, and there's a PoE2 version as well. Next thing, PathOfExile Wiki. I don't think there's anyone who doesn't use this for something sometime. There's also a PoE2 version. This is a great resource for looking things up. If you feel you need something, definitely go here, and it should have at least as up-to-date version as you can get, depending on what people have contributed. And I've got the PoE2 version open in another tab. So let's say you want to search for Sunder. You can select Sunder, clicking to our example, and then you can see neat information about where it's rewarded from a quest, which classes get it, with the same quest. And we can see that Marauder only gets it here. And then in the vendor rewards, we can see that it opens up to every class after the Fixture of Fate quest in Act 3. And then once you get to Act 6, you have everything available from Lily Roth in the town. So that's pretty much it for what I wanted to run through quickly. I will leave links to all of these things in the description. Sorry for going a little bit longer than usual, but yeah. See you in the next one, and have a good day.